All right, my name is Bouck, and this is my Didactic, Problems of the Present and the Progress of the Past. So, throughout history, humans have found ways to categorize one another by creating social categories, generating labels such as Asian or bisexual, and these labels have in turn created concepts in our minds, such as race. Historically, these categories have been full of bad information, which has created harmful stereotypes that have actually limited humanity's ability to understand itself. However, we currently live in an age of advocacy thanks to social media. We are much more able to raise our voices, to discover and refine, to attack and defend these concepts more than ever before. And this offers us the possibility of better inclusion, of furthering our ability to understand one another. For instance, modern advocacy over the concept of homosexuality has expanded this concept to include a romantic component, to include romance and marriage and not just sex and sexual attraction. But instead of navigating these social shifts, many people are trying to destroy them, thereby reinforcing historical ignorance and hate. This exhibit is an attempt to show both how far humanity has come on this journey of discovery and to illustrate where our labels are falling short we are falling short in defending these labels. And to do this, I've gathered artwork from throughout Western history to show how these labels have progressed, and then created data visualizations, informational displays that examine their current limitations. I admit that I have neither the expertise nor the ability to defend all social concepts, so I've limited this exhibit to 3: race, gender, and sexuality, each with its own exhibit containing a handful of artworks and a data visualization. Beginning in the race gallery, we're starting with Ashley A. Jones's The Brown Paper Bag Test, which depicts an early idea of race as a socioeconomic status that is pretty much only defined by skin tone. And upcoming images will demonstrate how race has gradually become a lot more fluid than this, but also less explicit, less and less spoken about until it's arrived at its present-day form. Next, I admit that this is only a free clip of the full Life of Imitation film, but it's still really enjoyable to watch, so please sit up and drop some popcorn.
Doors open.
Doors open. I'll be ready in a minute.
I'll be ready in a minute. I hope they're not here.
I hope they're not here.
Now, don't be mad,
Now,
honey.
don't be mad, honey.
Nobody saw me.
Nobody saw me. It was you.
It was you.
You were there tonight.
Why can't you leave me
Why
alone?
can't you leave me alone?
I tried,
Sarah
Jane.
Jane.
You'll never know how hard I tried.
Well,
Might as well pack.
Look, baby.
Look, baby.
I suppose you've
I
been to the
suppose
boss?
you've been to the boss?
Lost me my job? My friends?
Lost me my job. I've been no
Friends?
place.
I've been no place.
I didn't want to bother
I
you.
didn't come to
Well, you
bother
won't. Not ever
Well,
again.
you won't.
Spoil things
Not
for me
ever
here
again.
again, and I'll just go
Spoil
somewhere
things
else.
for me here, and I'll just go
I'll keep
somewhere
on
else.
going until
And
you're
I'll keep
so
on going
tired.
until
Baby,
you're so tired.
I am tired.
Baby, I am tired.
I'm as tired as I
am
ever
tired
want
as
to
I
be.
ever want to be.
Do you mind if I sit down?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Somebody's coming. That's why the door was unlocked.
Somebody's coming. That's
I'll
why
only
the door
stay a
was
minute.
unlocked.
I only stay for a
I
minute.
just want to look at you.
I just want to look at you.
That's why I
That's
came.
why I came.
Are you happy
Are you
here,
happy
honey?
here, honey?
Are you finding what you really want?
I'm somebody else.
I'm what?
I'm white.
Why?
White.
Why?
White.
Does that answer you?
I guess so.
I guess so.
Then please, Mom,
won't you go?
will you go?
And
And never do this again. And if by
And if
accident
by
we should ever
accident we
pass
should
on the
ever
street,
pass on the street,
please don't recognize me.
I won't, Sarah Jane. I promise.
I promise.
I settle
I
all
settle
that
all
in
that in
my
my
mind.
mind.
There's
There's just one thing I wish from you.
What?
If you're
If
ever,
you're ever
in trouble,
if you need anything at all,
if you want to
if
come
you want to come home and you shouldn't be
able
able to
to get in touch with me,
get in touch with me,
will you let
will
Miss
you let
Laura
Miss Laura
know?
know?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anything.
Anything. Now will you
Now
go?
would you go?
That wasn't
It wasn't all I
honey.
wanted, honey. There was a part of it.
That was only part of it. What's the rest?
What's the rest? I like to hold you in my arms once more.
I'd like to
Like you
hold
were
you in
still
my
my
arms
baby.
once more. Like you were still my baby.
All right, Mama.
All right, Mama.
All right.
All right.
Oh, Sarah Jane.
Oh, Sarah Jane.
My baby.
Oh, my baby.
My beautiful,
Oh, beautiful, beautiful baby.
I love you so much.
Nothing you ever do can stop that.
Oh, Mama.
My
Oh,
baby.
Oh, Mama.
Mama.
Oh, my baby.
Oh, my baby.
Come on, Linda. They're waiting.
They're waiting.
Say, listen. If you're the new
Say,
maid,
listen.
I want to
If you're
report
the
that
new
my
maid,
shower is full of
I
ants.
want to report my shower is full of
I'm
ants.
sorry,
Oh, I'm
That
sorry,
must be
maid.
very
That must be
uncomfortable.
very uncomfortable.
but I just happened to be in town.
But I just happened to be in
dropped in
town.
to see Miss
and I dropped
Linda.
in to see Miss Linda.
I used to take care of her. Well,
But I guess
I
I'll
have
be
to
running
leave
along.
soon. My please live
My
in
plane's
here a
leaving
while.
in a little while,
Miss
Miss
Linda.
Linda. Goodbye, honey.
Goodbye. Honey,
Now, take good care
You
of
take-
yourself.
good care of yourself. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, get you.
Well,
so,
get
honey
you.
child, you had a man.
Honey child, you had a mammy. Yes.
Yes.
All my life.
My life.
All right, and that is Life of Imitation. Fun fact, all of the female characters in those clips were played by men in drag, illustrating a gender fluidity alongside the racial fluidity. Next, we see a photo of actor Freddie Washington, who was much more popular in the 40s and 50s. So this requires a bit of backstory. She was born to African-American parents, but as a biracial person, possessing, as you can see, predominantly white characteristics, she chose to identify as African-American throughout her life, including the roles that she took in her career as an actress, and that also led her to do a lot of activism work throughout her life. All right, and this is my data visualization for this exhibit, comparing how Americans think about race versus the power it actually has over their lives, or at least over their money bags. Move this. All right, and then moving on to the gender gallery, we begin with a collage of basically outed genderqueer people from before the 1900s, demonstrating that these people society at that time couldn't really conceive of the idea of non-cisgender people. And then I can juxtapose that with this image from the 60s, a newspaper clipping describing the Beaumont Society, a society of straight cisgender, and I use this word in air quotes, cross-dressing men. Which demonstrates that the concept of gender had started to uncouple from the concept of gender presentation. And we see a more modern example of this over here with a modern straight cis drag queen. Next, this photo of performer Cossinelle demonstrates that during this period of transition by the 1960s or so, transgender people were able to pick identities that better fit themselves with certain costs. They had to undergo surgery, gender reassignment surgery, or whatever term you'd prefer, and they had to deal with a certain amount of ridicule, which you can see just from the way this little blurb writes about her. Finally, this data visualization illustrates that although these labels have progressed quite a bit since their conception, excuse me, well, that's a little sneak peek of the sexuality gallery. we are still not doing a great job of defending them. The cisgender community is 4 or 5 times less likely to be a victim of violent crime than the trans community. All right, now for the sexuality gallery, we'll start in the right place this time with Cherubino Alberti's homoerotic engraving here. Male figures pressing grapes for wine. And one thing I really want to note here is that very few of these people are actually looking at each other. They're looking off into the distance at some grapes, or their eyes are closed, which sets up sexuality as purely a biological impulse. And then we see that the concept has evolved quite a bit. By this time, this is a photograph of a gay couple from the HIV era in London, and likewise, they aren't really looking at each other, but their posture, their body position, and language indicates that they understand each other deeply as emotional beings and not just as bodies. Lastly, this photograph of Sylvia Rivera and her partner, two gay trans women, demonstrates that the concept of sexuality has started to uncouple from the concept of sex, or at least from biological sex, becoming an attraction more towards one's gender or toward one's overall identity than to one's genitals. Then I want to conclude with my final, let me move this. Let me conclude with my final visualization of how Americans feel about homosexuality right now. And although this concept has received a lot of elevation since the days of Alberti, we see here that almost a third of people either don't know where they stand or stand against this identity. All right, that's all I have to show here, folks. Thank you so much for coming.